let's have coffee, okay? Got a little bit different lighting going on. I got a train going by. It's getting warm today. It's almost up to 80 degrees today. Yes, I went swimming and I still have my wet bathing suit top on. It's keeping me cool, and I've got my fan on low. There, I've set the scene for you, okay? Cheers, let's have coffee. Today, I want to talk about narcissism, and I want to touch on just in general personality disorders. I do have a psych degree, behavioral science bachelor's degree. That doesn't make me an expert. I'll tell you that right now. It doesn't. You have to have to really be an expert at something, you really need to have a PhD. But with that is, what happens is when you get your bachelor's degree, you're about down here. Then what happens, you're in general, it's a general knowledge. You've studied it. You studied in depth a few things of your choice while you were, in college. Then you get your master's and it starts bottlenecking up. You start focusing in on one particular area of study. Then what happens is when you get your PhD, it really bottlenecks up. And when you get your PhD, you've studied real defined information. Okay, it bottlenecks up. So, but down here you have a pretty good broad sense of what psychology is. You understand the scientific method. You understand statistics. That's always a fun thing. You better be good at math if you want to do well in statistics. A lot of people think, oh, psychology degree, who cares? There's nothing. It really is a big deal. Psychology is used in psychological studies in all areas of our lives, our culture now. Politics, advertising, the workplace, medicine. Why, even the Nomad world, right? Oh, yeah. So psychology is used in many areas, and it's very useful. Okay, so now that I've laid that down, I do want to talk about narcissism for a reason. But let me just step back just a second. I'm Minivan Lee. I live in my minivan, and I love it, okay? This is my home, and it's pretty darn cozy, don't you think? Yeah. Got everything I need within reaching distance, and everything that I own, everything I own, I actually carry with me. I do not have a storage unit. I haven't left any items with my children in their garages. And, everything that I own is right here. So, I'm pretty darn proud of that. Yes. It's like minimalism 400. Yeah. But so you got, when you're in college, you got the 100 classes, 200, 300, and you can go up to 400, which are much more difficult and much more intense. So, with that said, Minivan Lee, let's talk about narcissism. I'm going to be reading a lot from here. Why am I talking about this? I did this once before because I get letters from you. I just got another one today. You leave me comments, emails, or you message me on Facebook and you tell me your story. And it's fascinating. I love it. Please tell me your story. I won't reveal any names unless you actually ask me to, or you say it's okay. But the one I got today said that she had two relationships, and both of the men were narcissists. Well, after reading, okay, I did some intense reading for the past couple hours. I know, big deal, couple hours. But I looked on the Mayo Clinic Psychology Today. The one that I liked the most was called Psych Central. And that has a lot of good information. But most of the narcissists in our society are male. And younger people. It's more prevalent in younger people. So that makes sense. Narcissism, some of the symptoms are include grandiosity, lack of insight, arrogance, and a need for praise. Well, that's like scratching the surface. Yeah, those things are like, you can't go on that. Because all of us would be able to say that, right? I think so, yeah. Let me tell you something about starting a psych degree. Like your first year in, right? Well, let me tell you, it's common for everybody to think, I have a personality disorder. I'm like that. Every psych student goes through that. They just do. They think, no. So because you're learning about it, you're looking at it and going, I have those traits. Let me just tell you, we all have certain traits of personality disorders. And we may even cycle into them every once in a while, depending on where our lives are at. So one main reason I wanted to talk about this is that I think a lot of people throw the word narcissist out all the time. They just throw it out. Oh, he was a narcissist. You're a narcissist. Quit being a narcissist. Oh, my husbands were narcissists, all of them. Well, it's easy to say, but I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to go with what they say. It takes somebody trained and somebody beyond a bachelor's degree in psychology to label a narcissist. But I will say that if you lived it and you know this person inside and out, and you have seen this and it's over a long period of time, I'm going to guess that if you kind of look this up, you might be able to say they were a narcissist. Yeah, they were bona fide narcissist. And I've heard of one like that. Yeah. So narcissist personality disorder, that's really the official name of it. It's NPD. Yes. It's not like if it was NYPD, but it's NPD. Leave out the Y. Okay. Involves an enduring and persistent sense of grandiosity, superiority, low empathy, and a profound need for attention and praise, among other symptoms. So they want me to go with another one. These symptoms show up in most areas of life, affecting relationships, self-image, behavior, and the ability to manage and express emotions. I do know, I'm going to say that from what I have heard and seen is narcissistic personality disorder involves massive manipulation. They need to manipulate others so that other people will serve them. That's what they do. They manipulate people because they do not want to be abandoned. They have major abandonment issues. And what they do is they find a victim and they look for a victim, somebody who would be, they feel in their heart would be easily manipulated. And then once they pulled them into their web, then it's an up and down all the time. They bring them up and down and up and down and up and down. They really consider that person their personal property. They're the property. They're not really a person. They're property. Now, with that said, I mean, isn't that in a way the way that our society is? And it's funny, it made me click in. If they say more males are narcissists. I mean, the woman, okay, and I'm not judging. I'm just stating a fact. Let's state facts. I'm not saying good, bad, this is good, bad, or one way or the other. But this is the way that society is. It's not so much anymore. Nobody's getting married anymore. But when you got married, the woman took on the man's last name. And even when I've talked about domicile, for nomads, you got to have a domicile. Well, when you get married, the female's domicile is where the man lives. Okay, if you're married. Okay, unless you do a separation. So isn't it in our society that we're sort of like trained for that? Where men manipulate women and there's an ownership. Now, I guess where the ties break is that a man can be abusive to his wife or girl, whatever, it can be abusive to them, and constantly being up and down and up and down and up and down, abusing them, making them do what they don't want to do, calling them names when they don't, and then later being really nice because, oh my gosh, they better not leave, my victim might run away, get back here, but so men will do that, right? But most, I don't know about most, I don't even know, but it seems to be that most men are very nice, and I think men kind of get a bad rap here and there. Yeah, I could see why young people would be considered narcissistic, but I don't know how manipulative they are. Some aren't as intelligent. Now, okay, I did find out there are two types of narcissistic personality disorder. One is grandiose and the other is vulnerable. Okay, so the grandioses are extroverts, and they're manipulative, and they always want to be the center of attention, and yeah, they want to pull people into their web, and they have no empathy. They're not every social or psychopath is a narcissist, but every narcissist is a sociopath. It's the way it is. It's just the way it is. There are so many different personality disorders. I'm going to go over them in just a minute, but this is on the narcissistic. Let me just explain the vulnerable. The vulnerable. This is, I kind of clicked into, I've met people like that. The vulnerable NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, what they do is they manipulate through depression. They're depressed. They're more prone to suicide. They're prone to a lot of depression, and they're prone to having a lot of problems, and they're just very vulnerable. But in that, it is a manipulation in their relationships. So yeah, I've known somebody who actually had a lot of physical pains, physical problems. They talked about them all the time, and it was almost as if they were controlling the people around them with that everybody had to bow down to this person. Well, because after all, she had a bad back. Well, after all, she did, and so the spouse was completely manipulated. The children were completely manipulated. Yeah, I would almost call that like almost a vulnerable narcissistic personality disorder of the vulnerable type. The grandiose, I just watched, I rented, it was a short one, but I rented it. It was like $1.99. I thought, okay, I got that budget going on. I'm going to put it in with my essentials, okay? Although I probably wasn't going to take it off for my business, because I wanted to talk about this and I wanted to see what was going on. They just do not want to be abandoned. They use people. They're users. And they use them because they're not really considered humans. They're not really considered important. Are they useful? They're there to serve the narcissistic person. And I will mention that once a narcissistic person focuses on a victim or somebody they hate, they will not take that focus off unless they find another victim. Yeah, then they can take the focus off. But even then, a narcissist, the way I see a narcissist is what they are is like, they're like a spider, and they're weaving a web. But what they do is they weave it around themselves till the very end, they're stuck. They're stuck. So having a personality, if you believe you have NPD, get help, because, and there is somewhat help. I don't know how much there is. One of the reasons that it's hard to help them is because they have no idea what the causes are. Isn't that crazy? A lot of the personality disorders, they don't know. They don't know what causes them. I do know statistically there are more narcissists now than there were before. About 5% of our population are narcissists. Narcissists are more prevalent in individualistic cultures like ours, rather than a more collective culture like Japan, the Eastern countries. Yeah. Let me take a sip. So just labeling somebody a narcissist, say, my wife was a narcissist, my husband is a narcissist. Only you would know, but I would definitely read up on it and see if that really is true. Because I think right now that word is just being thrown all over the place. There are so many, I mean, oh my gosh, you just have no idea how many YouTube channels just focus on narcissism. That's all they do. And they'll do a 20-minute video and they'll talk about, it'll be like one to say how to confuse a narcissist. And then the next day will be how to make a narcissist mad. How to, and they get like thousands and thousands of hits. Yeah, some of them have like 250,000 views within a matter of 3 days. So, yeah. So, a lot of people talk about this. I like to touch on a lot of different subjects. So, but I did want to touch on this again because lately, over and over and over, a lot of people are contacting me saying, excuse me, coffee burps, as usual. My husband is a narcissist. I gotta get away. Yeah, it does. I've heard it takes a lot of therapy to get over being a victim of a narcissist. Once you escape from them, that it takes a lot to get over and heal from that. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got while I'm here. I wanted to touch on this. It's really hard to do therapy on a real bona fide narcissist because they don't see any problem. They never go get help because they don't see a problem with themselves, right? But I can tell you, you read some of those things of being a narcissist and you think, I'm a narcissist. If you think that way, I love watching the trains. If you think that you exhibit these signs, you're not a narcissist. You really aren't. Because they would blow this off, say, that's them. That's that person, It's good. They'll say things like, it's a good thing I'm not a narcissist, right? Okay, so they have exaggerated feeling. This is from the DSM-5 list. Narcissistic traits. Exaggerated feelings of superiority and self-importance. Regular fantasies about personal power, intelligence, success, or attractiveness. A firm belief in personal specialness. I don't know, wait a minute. Personal specialness, yeah. I mean, don't we all feel special? Especially when our parents kind of treated us special. We feel special. But I think it's an exaggerated, a firm belief. Yeah, well, I don't know. I've got a firm belief that I'm special. I'm special to God. I'm special. Am I a narcissist? Oh my gosh. Okay, a habit of using manipulative tactics. Well, here's my feeling. Everybody uses everybody, don't they, for something? Yeah, they do. Low empathy or disinterest in the emotional needs of others. Ooh, well, that cuts me off right there. I am definitely an empath, and I know that I am, and I've read why I'm an empath. And it's not all that, oh, I'm an empath, I'm so happy. Actually, it's a sign of being somewhat emotionally abused as a child. An empath is always on the lookout for what's going on around them. They sense other people's distress. They sense what they're feeling, exaggerated wise. And why? You know, how'd you like to live your life always looking around and seeing what's going on with everybody? And they think, oh, you know, like, uh-oh, she's getting mad, or uh-oh, he doesn't look like he's too happy right now. And then you start stressing. It's like, well, what's it because of me? Okay? You know, well, that old saying is, you know, it's all not always about you. And I'll say that it's not always about me. They might be thinking of something else, but we're always looking around. Always looking around. And it comes from your parents. If you had one or two parents, both, whatever, who were up and down all the time and sort of unstable emotionally, well, you're going to end up being an empath because your survival depended on knowing, how was mom feeling? How's mom? Is she okay today? Is everything going to be okay? And you're always looking for these signs. You know, is dad, who is he? Uh-oh, something happened. What's going on? It feels weird in the house. I see, we have like hundreds of facial muscles in our face. So any kind of a contorting look can mean something else, you know, like, you know, even, you know, cocking your head this way or this way means something totally different. One way is different than the other way. It just is. It means something. And body language is everything. So empaths are always scanning body language. How does it feel, the vibe in the room and everything, because that was their survival. Should they get out of the house and go away and go find something to do, or can they laugh, can they make jokes, or should they just go to their room to get away from everything, you know, or yeah, and it makes your heart beat fast, because yeah, I mean, that's the way it was with my mom. I mean, I don't know, PMS, I have no clue, but she was up and down a lot. So, yeah, I always had to, like, scan what was going on. Come home from school. She's in a good mood. She was in a good mood most of the time, but when she wasn't, there was hell to pay. My dad, he was, I guess you'd call him Mr. Nice Guy, but sometimes I would get mad at him because it's like, you have no idea what it's like living with your wife. You know what I mean? Later she'd pass and you know, she gave me a lot of nice things, but good skills and things. But after she passed and before you know, my dad passed, he did mention to me, he goes, I know mom was really hard on you guys. Sometimes I'm like, well, yeah, where were you? Where were you? So I am an empath, and I'm going to guess that my brother and my sister are also empaths. So when people say I'm an empath, it's not always a good thing. You might be aware of what somebody's feeling, and you become over concerned about it. Oh my gosh, you know, are you okay? And you want, how can I help? How can I help? So I always knew, no, there's no narcissism going on. I am such an empath. I want to help others. Okay. Well, that was a long one. A tendency to envy others or assume others envy them. You know, I have people say to me, oh, they said that just because they're jealous. I always kind of like, I don't know if I like that, to just assume that, because that, I was always uncomfortable with that. It's like, oh, I don't think they're jealous of me. I think that they're just, if they're a troll, or they just want to nitpick at me, I just think they're probably unhappy and they don't have anybody around. They're lonely, and they're negative, and they have this negative spirit a critical spirit, I think they call it, and they just want to dump on somebody. And because they're on YouTube, that's me. So, you know, I take it with a grain of salt. Are they jealous? I don't know. I'm uncomfortable with that. I don't want anybody to be jealous of me, because honestly, in all seriousness, I ain't all that. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm a nice person, you know, I'm fairly okay looking, and I got my bathing suit tops, yeah, but I work at that. It's not like I was just born with it. I got to work at keeping my muscles going and things like that. Okay, well, let's keep going. Arrogance and scorn for others, yeah. Ooh, okay, so when they're trying to do therapy on a narcissist, they want to determine whether those traits appear in different contexts. Like, is it all the time, or is it just when you're with this person, or is it just when you're at work, when they first showed up, and how they affect daily life and relationships? Yeah. Here's something I do know. It seems like all of a sudden it's getting dark. I hope this lighting is okay. I thought it looked kind of cool. I don't have any other lights going on. And I thought it was just sort of like, I like this lighting right here, because I seem to be the one that's kind of lit up a little bit. So that's cool. Because I'm a narcissist. Light me up. No, I'm kidding. I'm teasing. Okay, I know I'm not a narcissist. But like you said, when you read it, it's like, oh my goodness, you know. Maybe at some points, we do have those traits. They say anybody and everybody in politics is a narcissist. You have to have some narcissistic traits if you're going to be very successful. And especially in politics, oh my gosh, you got to think, well, I'm so great, I can rule everybody and make the laws for all of you because I'm so smart. And and anybody in politics anyways has money. They come from money usually, and they were probably already raised to feel like, yeah, you're so special, right? Okay. I was going to go with something and I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, a narcissist, we can be narcissists at different times and then it goes away. So I think next, I was looking at that borderline personality disorder. That's an odd one. And even with my training, I was like, I just don't understand what that is. It's actually very interesting. I think I finally wrapped my head around it. I'd like to talk about that one too, because it's a different, but it's almost a little bit linked in. It's very manipulative, just like the narcissist. It's just that they have there's a different way that it goes. Now I will mention, okay, personality disorders in general. They go into 3 categories. Category A, B, and C. Okay? I believe the narcissist goes in class B. But yeah, there's class A. Oh no, it's cluster. Cluster A, cluster B, and cluster C. I really encourage you to look this up. The A's, they share odd and eccentric features like paranoid personality disorder, for example. Yes, a schizoid personality disorder. Now, class B, narcissist, antisocial, borderline personality disorder. That's a weird one. Histrionic. I want to touch on that one too. Now, the class C's are kind of weird. They usually live with strong feelings of anxiety, doubt, and fear. We got obsessive compulsive personality disorder, which is different than OCD. With OCD, you know you have it. But with the compulsive personality disorder, they don't know they have it. Dependent personality disorder. Avoidant personality disorder. It is really fascinating. Well, they say about 20% of the population have personality disorders, and 5% are narcissistic. I know one thing I wanted to mention, and then I'll end this, is that they say that more and more narcissistic traits, behaviors and traits are showing up in the workplace, which is making it so difficult. So the hiring department and the social end of a big corporation, they are getting trained. They're getting trained so that they can deal with it, because there's so many people showing up in the workplace. If you've got an office of 100 people, and 5% have a narcissistic personality disorder. Oh, yeah. And they're just creating all kinds of problems. And they're making a lot of disharmony going on in the workplace. And it's making people just miserable. I did read that if you have trouble with one of your coworkers, I mean, you just have really ill feelings toward them. You'll if you are above them at all, you'll end up giving them a bad review. You just can't stand being around them, and blah blah blah. That's one thing. But when you have trouble with most of your coworkers, and you show traits of being a narcissist, you probably are. A narcissist will have problems with a lot of people. Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's going to be people that have some of the traits, and some of the people that have all of them, but most of us, I'm going to say most of us, have a few of those traits. Just because, well, we're in an individualistic culture. We think the individual, our rights, our human rights, and we have the freedom to do what we want to do. So here's another train. It's going in the other direction. This is a major hub here. Okay, so I'm going to end this. I hope you found this interesting. I really want some comments. Yeah, let's join this. Let's get in this discussion and tell me about your experiences with a narcissist. Yeah. And tell me, do you think you are one? Have you ever thought that maybe you were one? I implore you to go online, and most of the sites will give you this stuff. Oh, they think they're grandiose and stuff like that. That is such on the surface. There's so many other traits. And the one trait that they have that they will never reveal to anybody is that they're scared. They're scared. And they're scared of abandonment. And they really inside have no self-confidence. Yeah. That's why they must pull people into their web so they can control them, because that's how they get their feelings of worth. Yeah, instead of just being who they are and being alone and having and enjoying and being nice with people. Yeah. So, okay. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Minivanlee.com. Whoops. Sometimes it's like I can't get it out. Net Gators, exercise videos, and if you want to give me a gift, they're there too. I get 100% of everything, unlike like Patreon and some of these. Okay, so till tomorrow, everybody. You guys have a really good day. I love you.